p.m. local time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being part of us again once more tonight on Viewpoint on DBS television. You know, waking up every day and getting up to this hour, it could only be by the grace of the Most High. Nevertheless, every day we talk about current issues here on Viewpoint, getting the analytical point of views of our guests. And today speaking, we have Mr. Kum Jerome. He is a teacher, and we have Mange Venashus, of course. Good evening to you, sir, and thank you very much for coming.
Good evening, madam. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be on your platform. Good evening, dear viewers.
Okay, thank you. But I'll prefer you call me Vanessa. Mange Venashus. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Vanessa. I almost say madam to you, see. No. And good evening to our viewers at home.
All right, let us take a transition now. We will be right back for the first part of the show. Welcome back. Our first question for tonight: can there be any justification for the fact that most COVID-19 victims are men? To you, sir, yes or no?
Yes.
There is a justification for that?
Yes.
Mange Venashus?
No, Vanessa.
No. Question 2: coronavirus cases and death mostly detected in public hospitals. Is there any hidden agenda?
No, Vanessa.
No. Mange Venashus?
Yes, I think there is.
There is. And our last question for tonight: is Tanzania free of COVID-19 as the president has announced? That took place yesterday. Mr. Kum?
Okay, I think yes.
You think yes?
Yes.
Mange Venashus?
No.
No. All right, these are their different point of views concerning these questions. What is yours back at home? Just stay tuned to get their opinion. Coming up next is the debate. In our first question, we asked whether there is any justification for the fact that most COVID-19 patients are men. Mr. Kum Jerome, since long the coronavirus outbreak came out in Cameroon, that is March almost 17, we have been hearing of mostly men. Men that are dying, men that are dying, men that are dying. Then we begin to ask ourselves the question: is it that men are too vulnerable to the virus than the women, or why is that they are the men that are being mostly reported to have died of COVID-19?
Vanessa, to be honest and truthful, there is clear justification why men are dying more than women as far as the coronavirus pandemic is concerned. You know, I will start from the point of view of what? The immune system. The women's immune system is naturally stronger than men. I remember when I was in the middle school years, my biology teacher told me if they lock two people of the same age, different sexes, the man is going to die before the woman. And when I asked, he said, go and find out. So on my research, I discovered that the women's immune system is very stronger. First, because of the additional or extra X on their chromosomes. This makes them to be more resistant to infections like the COVID-19. That is why you will see more men dying than female. This has been confirmed by the Central for Disease Control, by the HHIR, that is Higher Institute of Health in Rome, and other countries like in the United States of America. If you hear of the deaths in New York, most are men. Again, what can we say? Men are very careless. They don't respect social distances. And this can be justified. Most men are breadwinners. When we talk of confinement, if we confine all the men and the female, it means somebody is going to die of something other than coronavirus. This justifies the fact that men are dying more than women. Because the man will have to go out to go and fend for the family, and in the process he come in contact with different classes of people, different places he enters in order to gather something for the family. Why the women are less mobile. That is why they are dying in their numbers. Yes, we can equally say that the men are dying in their numbers because they have this courage. They said they have this courage by saying that women are the weaker sex or the weaker vessel, which is a fallacy. It is not true. Biologically and medically, it is proven that women, as far as health is concerned, they are more stronger than men. This false notion of men make them to ignore some of the sanitary and hygiene rules that has been put by authorities, by medical experts, and they go about doing their things, thereby increasing the number of deaths among men. But Vanessa, you bear with me that the rate of heart failure, cardiovascular diseases in elderly men is greater than that of women. And these are some of the diseases that are associated to the rapid collapse of the respiratory tract, which is the target of the coronavirus. That is why men die in their numbers.
All right.
Again, you see that.
All right. Maybe your point is really lengthy while listening to you, but you should be rounding up.
Okay.
Your point.
Yes. What we have to say is men should be very, very, very cautious, and then they should improve their sanitary and hygiene condition, because the female are very meticulous in their ways of doing things. If you just look at the voice of a woman when she's approaching you, but many men, you talk and then you understand speed and saliva and the rest.
Yeah, you talk, Mr. Kumjerum, one could think that you're a medical doctor, but then he is a teacher, but a teacher with a difference. Manga Venashus, he just outlined the biological aspect and the medical aspect of the system of a man and the woman, and saying that the woman is more stronger than the man, justifying the fact that that is why most men die of COVID-19. But you are rather saying that there is no justification for this. What makes you think so, looking at his point of view?
Yes, when I listened to him speaking, I was so touched when he gave the biological composition of both man and woman, and to him, that is the fact that justify or that gives reason for women dying, or for men dying more than women. But when I look at coronavirus, starting from that biological explanation that he has given, coronavirus is a virus like any other virus. When we go back a bit to history, we take other viruses that we had, like the HIV. Statistics show that the rate of infection of HIV in, let us limit it to our country, Cameroon, is more on women and the youth than men. Women are more vulnerable than men. I don't know whether the virus or the coronavirus altered, came with that such a distinction to make sure that women become more stronger, the immune system of a woman becomes stronger than men. Because I think that a virus is a virus, and if women were weaker when it comes to coronavirus, then
when it comes to
HIV, then building an argument on the fact that coronavirus is not taking much women because they have a stronger immune system, I think is one thing. I want to look at the other points from saying that men are breadwinners for their family. That was years past, when a woman's place was in the kitchen. Today, women will tell us that what a man can do, women can do it better. And in every crowd, anthropologists and sociologists will tell us, in every crowd that you go out there, 7 are women. We take a stupid explanation. Go to church, most of them are women. Go to the market, most of them are women. In every society, in every crowd that we have in a society, most are women. If we want to look at it from this other point of view, sociology tells us that we have more widows than widowers, which means we have more women than men. So in that context of saying that because men go out, because there is a social interaction more than women is wrong. It's not tenable enough to justify the fact that men are dying more than women. Vanessa had this very argument on social media with some other people, and the argument they were like for bringing is coronavirus is not a natural disease. It is a man-made kind of disease whose main aim is to sap the man-force from Africa, to make sure that Africa becomes vulnerable, to make sure, because Africa is already threatening the Western world. And if they allow the rate at which the African population is growing, we run the risk of challenging the Western countries. So they have to make sure that they sap the Western world, the African men, so much so that Africa becomes vulnerable. The question now we're asking is, if coronavirus is a virus that circulates once we intermingle, why should only men be dying without women? And from my own point of view, I was like tilted towards that idea of thinking that maybe it is a programmed kind of virus to eliminate more men, and what to us who are men, to eliminate more men and take the female folk, you know, into consideration. Vanessa,
people will make me really laugh on this set tonight. But then I am asking myself the question: if the men are dying, what of the women who sleep besides them?
That is the worry that we have.
They go home every day and they interact with their kids.
And this is when you ask this, when you follow up those who die of coronavirus, you see that I've had more than 3-4 cases. They were not really sick. Just a matter of 1-2 days, they are gone. And you tend to ask, the rate at which they are dying, is it natural? Is it natural? Because somebody just complains. I was discussing with another person the other day. He says they took somebody to the hospital here in Douala, in Bonaberi. He was discussing with the wife. Doctors entered the ward and then asked him, it was a private ward, and asked the wife to go out because they want to work on the husband. The wife refused. I said, no, it's my husband. If there's even undressing him, what's wrong? I'm there. They insisted. And the man said, please excuse them, let them work. Immediately the woman stepped out. In less than 1 hour, they came and told him that your husband is dead. Somebody he was discussing with. So when you put these things together, you tend to find out, is it natural?
And if he died of COVID-19, what of the wife?
That is the point. The wife who was closer to him, she's
left in the mercy of the society, interacting with others.
That is where we are.
That is where a rhetoric question that we are asking. Mr. Komjerom, our second question for tonight: COVID-19 cases and deaths mostly detected in public hospitals. Is there any hidden agenda? And you don't think there is any hidden agenda? Then why is it that only public hospitals are being able to detect that this patient is a coronavirus patient?
Yes. Public hospitals.
Because for me to go further into that question, more private hospitals now do receive patients than public hospitals, because civilians are afraid to go to public hospitals.
Okay, to me and to my point of view, I believe that public hospitals, they stand a better chance to receive a majority of the patients. Why? Because most of them are affordable. They are government own, and the testing treatment is almost free. And you bear with me that 70% of Cameroonians are average income earners. When this pandemic broke out 2 months ago, a public hospital in Douala estimated the scanning and the test, the amount, the bill they gave to the family was almost 300,000 francs without treatment. A sum that a majority of, the citizens can't afford. So they go to the public hospitals. And I buy the idea of the public hospitals dictating this patient. Why? Because some people have taken this COVID-19 to do some other extra things behind it in the name of COVID-19 business. I mean business, because in the public hospitals, to an extent, it is limited. Because when you go there, they say, c'est l'État, it is the state, it is government owned, and they try to be genuine. As you go to the private hospital, what is the objective of a private businessman? It is to make benefit at all costs. So to them, they feel it as something advantageous to them. They will do the scanning. COVID-19, it has nothing to do with your, I mean, stomach. It is a respiratory disease. They will do everything in order to inflate the bees and make you to pay. I was very happy with the SDO, I think a month and a fortnight ago, when he ordered some COVID-19 patients in one private hospital here in Douala to leave and go to the centers for COVID-19. That is Lacantinil, Hôpital General, and other well-known hospitals. Why? Because these people were going out of the medical norms, and a lot of people still hide behind the COVID-19 issue in order to perpetuate some unlawful and inhuman thing for their personal benefits. So these places, to me, they stand a better chance, because in an economy system like ours, I can say a mixed economy system, when there is like rioting or there is mix up, the government set in through public institutions in order to put what? Order for the rest to follow.
For the rest to follow. Mangavanya Shus, you rather think that there is a hidden agenda for these patients being detected in public hospitals rather than in some private hospitals?
And whatever the agenda is still a question for me to answer as well. But I still hold the fact that there's something fishy. There's a hidden skeleton. There's a hidden skeleton somewhere in some cupboard that they don't want us to see. Because when I take the explanation that Mr. Kum is giving, it's true. Government hospitals were meant to relieve the population of health issues. That is why the cost is supposed to be lower than in public hospitals, in private hospitals. But what we see is the experience now shows that most people do not go to government hospitals now. Where do they go to? To private hospitals. It is these private hospitals that we think that they are there to make profit. When you look at the relationship between doctor and patient in government hospitals is not the same like in private hospitals. Private hospital has a higher care, patient care, than in government hospitals. In government hospital, like he said, c'est pour l'État, which is, si c'est pour l'État, anybody does what he wants. But in a private hospital, you are accountable to the management first. I'm not saying that in government hospital you are not accountable, yes. But since it is pour l'État, the doctor or the manager or whoever of that hospital is not as powerful as that of a private hospital, because he can dismiss you. Once you are a state agent, I don't think the medical director or the director in charge of that hospital, he cannot dismiss you. He can sanction you. But in a private hospital, they dismiss you. We come back to the point of detecting cases and death, mostly in private hospital of COVID-19. I was asking the question, if most people are going to private hospitals than in public hospitals, why is it that we don't have cases dying in private hospitals? Is it that you only go and die in government hospitals? That's where I see that there is a kind of hidden agenda, because private hospitals will not accept that agenda to unveil in their institutions. They would refuse. And in government hospital, c'est pour l'État, it can go. So I think that there is a hidden agenda. However, which agenda it is, I don't stand the position of declaring it here, because I don't know as well. But I think that there should be, because they still need to let me reason to see why we don't have people dying in private hospitals than in government hospitals. We don't have cases of COVID-19 being detected in private hospitals. And the irony is, people are instead going to private hospitals than in government hospitals. Government hospitals, why are they afraid? Because when you ask the question, why are they going to private hospital, they tell you, once you go to government hospital, even if you are suffering, if you have a fracture, somebody had an accident, had a fracture on the leg, immediately they arrive at the hospital, COVID-19. Yes,
DBS TV did a big reportage concerning this.
COVID-19.
Cameroonians, and a lot of them were saying that no.
Correct.
But rather than going to a government hospital, they rather go to a private hospital and spend as much as they could.
Vanessa, I remember when there was some mix up here in Douala, and the hospital in Logbaba was declared to be a confinement center. For more than 2 weeks, the hospital was empty because nobody was going there. They were afraid that if you go there, you will be contaminated in the hospital. And once you go there, headache, you just need to produce a symptom of one of the symptoms of coronavirus, you are automatically declared coronavirus. And most of these cases, It's just like when HIV started. Once you just hear, there's this stigmatization that goes with it. Once they say you have coronavirus, you can die of, you know, of that stigmatization of, because in your mind you're already a dead person. So what kills you is the fear and not the virus itself. So I think that there is something hidden behind it that we are yet to see.
Mr. Kumjerum, you'll be wanting to say something.
Yes, as much as Mr. Venacho says that of late people have been rushing to the private hospitals for check-up. You know, when this thing started, the main centers for control and check of the COVID-19 were public hospitals, and I really believe that in order to safeguard the images of some of these private hospitals, there may be some cases of COVID-19s that they rather refer them, whether you like it or not, they refer you to the center that is in charge of handling the COVID-19 patient. So they still stand the chance, they still have the upper hand in order to declare maybe infected cases, dead cases. Why? Because they have the overall control. Because I take the public hospitals like what? A sample that they use as a pivot to oversee the activities of other private hospitals.
All right, let us take our last question for tonight. Is Tanzania free of COVID-19 as the president has announced? That happened yesterday, where he said due to the prayers of his citizens, the country has been able to get free or to get rid of COVID-19. And we are asking, how true can that be? And you think that is possible?
Yes, categorically, I say yes, Tanzania is free of COVID-19. That's when we talk of faith. I remember when this issue started, this very president said the church will not be closed down in my country. That is somebody who put Jesus in front of every situation. And you agree with me that if you put Jesus in front of every situation, you will always have victory. And the victory we are having in this world, first of all, takes place in the spirit realm, that is in the metaphysical realm, before it now appears in the real or physical realm. So this powerful man of God, this president who is at the helm of this country, is a God sent. And God said, whatever you shall declare on earth, it shall be done for you in heaven. Talk much of the president of a country who stands as, I can say, the representative of God for his people, because he's a pastor, he's a man of God. So I strongly believe, and I take side with him, that this particular country is free of COVID-19.
All right, but before that happened, you know, he had ordered that statistics of coronavirus infections should not be released. Laid back, I talk on the 29th of May, where it reported 509 cases. Those are, I think that is when we had the last statistics. And looking up to today, everything has been free, but the opposition leader thinks that no, it is not actually clear of coronavirus.
You know, the opposition will always like to challenge the ruling government, especially a God-sent administrator. Look at what is happening in the United States of America. The man of God, Donald Trump, is being attacked from left to right because of his stand, and he speaks the truth. And the Bible tells us that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And if you stand grounds on your faith, it is well with you. And this does not in any mean that as a Christian or a believer or a citizen of that country, you will not be affected by COVID-19. You can be sick, you can be affected, but your infection cannot be like the others who are already overcome with what? Fear. Just that declaration, just that initiative, just that idea that this president has, that this thing is no more than the God I save, this thing is no more than my people, gave them what? Some courage, gave them what? Some stand. You understand? So this country, spiritually and even physically, is free of COVID-19. This thing was manufactured, it was fabricated in a laboratory by some human beings for their own reasons, and these people are not more than Jesus Christ. So I give this particular man kudos for standing the gap for his country. I saw him praying on the mountain day and night for God to redeem his country of COVID-19. We should even give an applause.
Ignatius, looking at the statistics, you are not convinced that his declarations actually proves that Tanzania is free of coronavirus?
Far from it, Vanessa. I don't share that opinion, because it's not like we're minimizing the powers of prayer. No. It's not like we are minimizing the possibility that it could be. No. Just like in Tanzania, yesterday, the Minister of Information announced in Zimbabwe that they are expecting the president to announce a day of prayer and fasting for COVID-19 in that country. That is a fact. But I think that when we have a kind of God that we can telecommand, you know, it raises questions, because to say that we should pray for coronavirus to end is a fact. Churches have been praying since the outbreak of this pandemic. God works in his own way that are unknown to man. Right from the time that the president asked the information not to be released from his country, they had about 509 cases. The president has not indicated how many were healed of that 509.
No, it was just last week that information came out that 4 cases were left.
That 4 cases were left, which means the rest of 505 have been healed. Now, the president has not informed us between then and today whether there have been no other infections. And the problem is, once you hide something, every other person stands the chance to doubt your credibility. There should have been no reason for the president to withhold the publication of coronavirus statistics from his country. And then when he talks like that, other presidents would learn from him, go down on their knees and pray, so that God should also do the same miracle in their own countries. Now, what the president wants is that Cameroon should get up today and tell the Minister of Health, do not publish the facts about coronavirus again in Cameroon.
But the information already happened in Cameroon, where it was saying we're told that the infection statistics should not be released, but later on, that is why now like this you hardly even get
what the minister was saying. No, it was an error. You are misquoting the minister. It was not that the information should not be released. What the minister said was, we should not make a daily update, because when the virus started, it was just like every evening the minister would say, we are already at 100. We're already at 150. We're already at 300. We're already at 500. And instead of creating panic, the minister said we should not overemphasize on contaminated cases. Let us also talk about cases that have recovered, rather than just accentuating on cases, the contaminating cases. But then that did not stop the fact that each day the minister gave the total number that we have. To say that we are already at 8,060 something is a fact as of yesterday. The information is available to whoever wants to find out the information in Cameroon. But when you go to Tanzania, you see that from the day the president suppressed it, they have a flattened curve, which means nothing is happening in that country. And the question now we tend to ask is, what are we hiding? Simply tell us that from that day we have never had any infection. Like in other countries, they keep reporting that today, the second day, the third day, we have not had any infection. Today, the second day, death cases are dropping. They have dropped from 300 to 130. Now, at least everybody is clear. But when you start saying that I don't want any information, any statistics to be published, and after 2-3 weeks you declare that your country is free, it leaves every other person to wonder how far the authenticity of your declaration, Vanessa.
But is that not possible, Ignatius?
That is why I started by saying that we are not downplaying the fact that prayers can do miracle. They can do miracle, but I believe that the miracle can not only be limited to Tanzania, because there have been countries. I take for example Rome. In Rome, in Italy, yes, in Italy, you would discover that practically on a daily basis, priests were moving the streets of Italy with the Blessed Sacrament, praying. We think that the gods in Italy did not hear them, and in Tanzania suddenly wiped out the coronavirus overnight. So I say that we're not minimizing the powers of prayer, but then we are saying that the method at which the president took to declare his country free is suspicious. That is why it is difficult for somebody just to take it that the country is coronavirus free.
Coronavirus free. Thank you very much for your point of view on our topics tonight, Mange Venashus.
Thank you, Vanessa.
And Mr. Kum Jerome, a recommendation to our viewers watching us at this particular moment.
At this very point in time, I am recommending that we are at a crucial stage. We are at a crucial moment where everything is open, everywhere is open. We should take precaution, and we should stick, and we should even be more vigorous to prevent the spread, because it is now that the cases are instead increasing, and we wish that God, who has always been there for us, will stand by us, and we should not forget to maintain the sanitary hygiene rules and pray as the president of Tanzania prayed and COVID-19 disappeared from his country. Thank you very much.
Thank you also for coming, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being part of us tonight. But then we hope that the God of Tanzania that healed everybody, as the president says, will also intervene in Cameroon and Africa as a whole. Why not the world? Until we meet again, do take care and have a blessed night in the company of DBS Television. Bye-bye.